I'm the Rockhopper, and today we're going to explore the ghost town of Rhyolite, Nevada! So this is one of the more well-known structures in Rhyolite, Tom Kelly's bottle house. On occasion in Nevada, you will come across a bottle house. That's right, a house made almost entirely of bottles. And this is one such house. This one was built by Tom Kelly in 1906. The reason he built it? To raffle it off. The winning family lived here for many years. As you can see, there are quite a few bottles involved in the construction of this house. Every wall is bottles. And now you've got bottles inside and outside the bottle house. Here's a look at one of the other walls. A lot of bottles. Not much on the inside, just an old bed with rat droppings on it, and a few tools, broken whiskey bottle, that kind of thing. You can see some of the old bottles here. Bitters, blood purifier, stomach bitters, Red Raven. Maybe that was some kind of beer. Here's a look inside the house. This was the schoolhouse. Rhyolite was once a bustling town with about 8,000 people. You can tell this place has been abandoned for a long time. Even the visitors who scrawled their names on the side of the walls, even those inscriptions are old. 1938 right there. This was the Cook Bank Building, erected in 1908 at a cost of $90,000. The bank building had a post office, steam heating, electricity, and marble floors. This structure here was the Overbury Bank Building. It had electric lights and indoor plumbing, plush for that time. And that time was 1907. A small structure at the top edge of town. Probably was somebody's little house at one time. Not much left inside here. Just some old bed springs. From the days when trains had a caboose. And you know this one's an old one because it's made of wood. Back when having a big caboose meant more than just a large lady's backside. Here's the Las Vegas and Tonopah train depot. All aboard! Rhyolite stop. Quite a nice railway station, especially considering this was way back in the day. Here's a shot of the train depot. I'm trying not to get the fence in the shot. These burros are descendants of the burros that were let loose by the miners back in the 1800s. Look at that little baby burro grazing. Isn't it cute? Yeah, I'm talking about you. That bird was a loggerhead shrike, and this is what they do to their prey. They skewer them, in this case, on the sharp end of a yucca plant. And they'll also use barbed wire and other sharp things. I can hear the distant sound of thunder, and the clouds are beautiful. That was fantastic. I don't even know how to describe it. It was like this nuclear sky. It was just smoke and darkness, and it was Armageddon. This thunderstorm came in and unleashed. So it rained for quite a while, and now it's cleared up a bit. So, but the sky was fantastic, and I managed to photograph it. I got some great photos. So I'll probably show you those. Yeah, the thunderstorm was crazy. You can still see some of the darkness in the sky there. And the lightning was just crashing, and thunder, you know. And I thought it was best to hunker down in the car, so that's what I did, because lightning actually has struck this town. It hit in 2014 a wooden structure and caught it on fire and burnt it to the ground, unfortunately. Yeah, that sky, it was crazy. It was spectacular, fantastic. It was fantastamundo! I heard some guy talking about the sky, and he was saying it was like a once-in-a-lifetime event to see the light cascading down on the town, the ghost town, and have that kind of black sky behind it. It was pretty amazing, and there were just a few of us photographing it. And that poor bugger, he didn't have his camera with him. So while there's a little bit of daylight left, let's get back to our tour. So this was somebody's house, apparently, but it was also reputed to be, they think, a brothel. Boy, you just never see those in Nevada now, do you? Kind of a cool little house. Stone construction, tin roof. Pretty nice little abode. Let's see what's on the inside. Not bad. There's a shot from afar of the jail. You're going to jail. Oh, no, again. I would go after spending a night in here, 'cause I've been drinking a little bit too much. And this would be a hard jail to escape from. You've got concrete with lots of rebar in it. Some mighty solid doors on this jail. Whoa, what the heck is this? I nearly stepped on him. Just looked like a piece of, a shriveled up piece of weed or something, you know, piece of plant. It's a tarantula, and I don't know what he's doing out here. It's
pretty cold. It looks like he was caught in the rain, and he's just trying to, bundle up. He's all closed up. Poor guy. He should be in his burrow.
Daylight is running out, so it's time to go camp. Maybe we'll come up here tomorrow and have another look. It's a new day and good morning. We're back at the Rhyolite School, and this was the second school built here. It was completed in 1909, but by that time most of the people were leaving Rhyolite. Rhyolite only lasted about 10 years, and it had a peak population of somewhere between 5,000 to 8,000 people. Here's a look at the back of the school. This is all that's left of some building next to the school. This was the Porter Brothers store. They sold general merchandise, and they had stores in California as well. So they would move things over to here, which they termed their Rhyolite Emporium. As you can see, it was constructed in 1906. 1906 was the time of the San Francisco earthquake, which had a devastating impact on the San Francisco financial markets, and ultimately contributed to the demise of Rhyolite. The earthquake destroyed California's financial district. Funding for the mines in Nevada was severely jeopardized. This is all that's left of the Miners' Union Hall. Just a couple of crumbling walls. There are many pictures to be taken here, if one is so inclined. Also makes a good backdrop for modeling. How about this for rustic accommodations? Airbnb, anyone? Plenty of air, as there are no windows. Does the condition of this car shock you? Heading on down to the newer, artier section of Rhyolite. So this is the Goldwell Open Air Museum, as they call it. And here's a look at some of the artwork. This one's called Ghost Rider, and it was created by a Belgian artist. That's pretty much how I feel when I get a flat tire while I'm riding my bike. That same artist, Albert Sikowski, also created this, and this is what really started this whole museum. This was modeled after the Last Supper. Now this would be a fun sculpture to have in my front yard, if for no other reason than just to piss off my uptight neighbors. Have a seat, on a colorful one at that. This one's called Icara. So what we have here is the makings from a Dutch artist who encourages you to come, sit down, and have your selfie taken with these characters. This one is a tribute to prospector Shorty Harris, who was in the Rhyolite area. And that, next to the man, is a penguin. Not a Rockhopper penguin. Otherwise, he'd have yellow feathers at the top of his head. How did I know about some of this stuff? Cheat sheet brochures. So let's check out the cemetery. Let's go. Enter the Rhyolite Cemetery. Let's check it out. The Bullfrog Rhyolite Cemetery. Bullfrog was a mining area not far away. So this cemetery started in 1904. Some of the headstones aren't made from stone at all. They're made from wood.
Some people have left their 2 cents worth here, sometimes more, in the form of coins on the gravesites.
Another old wooden grave marker.
In many cases, the graves aren't marked at all anymore.
The only telltale signs are the mounds of dirt,
showing where burial sites were.
Some of the graves are more elaborate, like this one.
Daniel G. Kennedy, born at Loch Katrine.
Something on there about Nova Scotia.
On the side of this headstone it says, "Around our skiff be goods aboutness, ere she try the depth of sea. Sea shall frail for all her stoutness, unless thou her helmsman be." Old Scottish prayer. A closer look reveals Antigonish County, Nova Scotia.
March 23rd, 1881 or 7. Died at Bullfrog, Nevada, May 1905.
May you rest in peace, lad. Go with God, Daniel. He'll be with you. This wooden headstone has elaborate fencing surrounding it. This headstone dates back to 1905, 1908 on this one, Annie Sisk, and no date on the other one behind it. This grave is from 1930. There are other more recent graves here from the 1980s and 1990s.
People who lived through the World War II era are often referred to as the greatest generation. I remember my grandmother telling me about the hardships of the World War II days. She didn't really suffer at all during the Great Depression because she was on a farm and they had everything they needed. They only really needed to trade for sugar and coffee. But when World War II hit, it was the first time she ever had to ration anything. So she told me about the ration tokens that were given out by the government for food. You could only get so much food. I remember her saying she would always try and get a banana for each of her kids.
Those 2 kids ended up being my uncle and my mother. As they say, life is short. Treat others the way you'd like to be treated, and make the world a better place. Have respect for nature and each other. I feel fortunate to have seen Rhyolite when I did the first time years ago. Today it feels more like a tourist ghost town than a real ghost town sometimes, especially on weekends. It had that aura, that feel to it. So once they started publicizing the place, more people came here than normally would have. And you can probably guess the rest. People started coming and taking things and maybe vandalizing a little bit. And now they even have people living here just to make sure none of that happens. Enjoyed exploring the ghost town of Rhyolite with me. You keep on subscribing, and I'll keep taking you to ghost towns like this. Until next time, this is Rockhopper. I'll see you again. Here's a little information about Rhyolite.